The night was frigid. The air was still, and the cold seemed to seep into every corner of the world, wrapping everything in a blanket of icy silence. February 9th, 2004 held an eerie silence in Haverhill, New Hampshire. The small town, usually bustling with life, was now a ghostly landscape covered in a thick layer of snow. It was the kind of silence that felt heavy, pregnant with the unknown. The moonlight cast long shadows on the snow, creating an almost surreal atmosphere. The silence was soon broken by an unexpected disturbance, a sound that shattered the stillness of the night. A lone car, a black Saturn sedan, careened off the icy road. The tires struggled for grip, but the ice was unforgiving. It crashed into a snowbank, the impact sending a spray of snow into the air. The car came to a sudden jarring halt. Behind the wheel was Maura Murray, a 21-year-old nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. She had a promising future ahead of her. She was known for her bright smile, her athleticism, and her sharp mind. Friends and family described her as a dedicated and driven young woman. Maura was miles away from her campus, far from the familiar surroundings of her daily life. The road she traveled was desolate, with no signs of civilization in sight. What was she doing so far from school on a Monday night? The question lingered in the air, unanswered and troubling. And what happened in the moments after her car skidded off the road? The events that followed were shrouded in mystery. These questions would haunt investigators and captivate the nation for years to come. The search for answers became a relentless pursuit. Maura Murray vanished into the cold winter night, leaving behind a trail of baffling clues and shattered hopes. Her disappearance remains one of the most perplexing mysteries of our time, a story that continues to intrigue and baffle those who seek the truth. Maura Murray was a young woman with a promising future. She was full of life, ambition, and dreams that seemed within her grasp. She excelled in her studies, was a star athlete in high school, and had a close-knit family. Her academic achievements were impressive, and she was well loved by her peers and professors alike. But just days before her disappearance, Maura seemed to be struggling. Friends noticed a change in her demeanor. She appeared anxious and withdrawn. She had emailed her professors at UMass Amherst, citing a fabricated family emergency that required her to miss a few days of classes. This was out of character for Maura, who was known for her honesty and dedication. Her dorm room was found emptied of most of her belongings. Clothes, books, and personal items were missing, as if she had planned to leave for an extended period. This was unusual. It was as if she had left in a hurry. The room looked hastily abandoned, with drawers left open and a sense of urgency lingering in the air. Was she running from something or towards someone? The questions began to pile up, each more perplexing than the last. The mystery deepened with each passing hour. Time seemed to stretch endlessly as investigators scrambled for clues. Maura's disappearance wasn't just a missing persons case, it was an enigma wrapped in a riddle. The more they uncovered, the more questions arose, leaving everyone grasping for answers in the dark. At approximately 7:27 p.m., a bus driver passing by on Route 112 noticed Maura's car. The night was cold and the road was deserted, making the sight of the car even more alarming. It was off the road, airbags deployed, the front end crumpled against a snowbank. The snow around the car was undisturbed, suggesting the accident had just happened. The bus driver stopped and asked Maura if she needed help. She appeared shaken but uninjured, standing beside her car in the biting cold. She assured him she was fine and had already called for assistance. Her calm demeanor was surprising given the severity of the crash. Trusting her word, the bus driver continued on his route. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, but he had no reason to doubt her. He called the police when he reached a nearby house with a phone line. The rural area had poor cell reception, making it difficult to call for help immediately. When the police arrived just minutes later, Maura was gone. The officers were puzzled by her sudden disappearance. The scene was eerie. There was no sign of a struggle and very little blood despite the damage to the car. The quiet of the night added to the unsettling atmosphere. Where could she have gone on a freezing night in such a remote area? The surrounding woods were dense and the temperature was dropping rapidly. The mystery of Maura's disappearance deepened as the night wore on. The investigation into Maura Murray's disappearance began immediately. Police scoured the area surrounding the crash site, but the rugged terrain and heavy snowfall made the search difficult. Search dogs were brought in, but they lost her scent just a short distance from her abandoned car. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months, but there was still no sign of Maura. The case garnered national attention, with her story being featured on television shows like Disappeared and America's Most Wanted. Tips poured in from across the country, but none led to any concrete answers. The more time passed, the more it seemed like Maura Murray had vanished without a trace. Section 5. Whispers in the Wind. As the search for Maura continued, speculation ran rampant. Theories ranged from the plausible to the outlandish. Some believed she had gotten into another car, perhaps with someone she knew or even a stranger. Others suspected foul play, pointing to the lack of a struggle at the crash site as evidence that she had been abducted. Still, others clung to the hope that she had simply chosen to disappear, perhaps to escape a personal problem or to start a new life. With each passing season, the mystery of Maura Murray's fate seemed to grow more impenetrable. Section 6. The Weight of Silence. One of the most perplexing aspects of Maura's disappearance was the lack of evidence. Her belongings, including her purse and a partially emptied bottle of alcohol, were found in the car, but her cell phone, credit cards and ATM card were missing. Her credit cards and phone were never used. It's as if she ceased to exist from that moment on. This absence of activity only deepened the mystery. Was she trying to stay off the grid, or had something prevented her from using them? The silence surrounding her disappearance was deafening. Section 7. A Father's Quest. In the years following Maura's disappearance, her family, particularly her father, Fred Murray, never gave up hope of finding her. Driven by an unwavering belief that she was still alive, Fred dedicated his entire life to searching for answers. He tirelessly pursued every lead, organized countless searches, and became a vocal advocate for all missing persons. His unwavering determination and the pain in his eyes reflected the depth of a father's love and the agony of not knowing what happened to his beloved child. Section 8. Searching for Answers. Despite the lack of progress in the official investigation, Fred Murray's dedication inspired countless amateur sleuths and true crime enthusiasts to take up Maura's case. Websites, podcasts, and online forums dedicated to uncovering the truth behind her disappearance sprung up, with armchair detectives poring over every detail of the case, hoping to find the missing piece of the puzzle. They analyzed maps, timelines, and witness statements, searching for any clue that might have been overlooked. While their efforts brought renewed attention to the case, Maura's whereabouts remained a mystery. Section 9. The Unanswered Questions. Why was Maura driving in Haverhill, New Hampshire, so far from her university? Did she stage her own disappearance? Was she the victim of a random crime? Or did someone she knew have something to do with her vanishing? These are just a few of the questions that continue to haunt investigators, amateur sleuths, and anyone who has ever heard Maura's story. The lack of concrete answers has only fueled speculation and conspiracy theories, making it even more difficult to separate fact from fiction. Section 10. A Mystery Endures. The case of Maura Murray remains one of the most baffling missing person cases in recent history. Her sudden disappearance on that cold February night continues to fascinate and frustrate those who seek answers. Did she run away to start a new life? Was she the victim of a tragic accident or a sinister crime? Until her fate is known, the questions surrounding Maura Murray's disappearance will linger. a chilling reminder of the mysteries that continue to lurk in the shadows of our world.